Welcome to
the Neapolitan
Scoop Podcast.
My name is Steph.
My name is Shay.
And my name is Rose. Thank you for tuning into the Neapolitan Scoop Podcast, where you get your weekly scoop. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, what are you waiting for? Go subscribe right now. Before we jump into our content, before we jump into our talk today, quick disclaimer about our content. This is created for adult audiences only. We advise listeners and viewers discretion for depictions of graphic violence, sexuality, discussion of mental illness, and existential struggles, because they do happen. Sometimes some filthy language as well. It may be a lot to take in once we touch those topics, so if you need a break, take a minute and come right back. Today's topic, marketing your business as a mompreneur. The term was introduced in 1994. Before we get started, I would like to welcome our guest, Carly. Carly, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm so excited. Hey guys, my name is Carly LeBlanc and I am a wife, I'm a mom, I also work a corporate job and I own a marketing agency called CD Creative Co. I originally was going to school to become a doctor, but God steered me into entrepreneurship, and through obedience, I decided to answer the call and found myself here helping women entrepreneurs to market their businesses and to take up space in the online space. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome. And just so everybody know, me and Rose had attended one of Carly's first workshops you ever hosted.
Yes.
And it was a really good, informative workshop. We were back there taking notes and stuff. It was real good.
Yes.
That is so crazy because that was literally at the beginning of this year, and I just think about like where I was in my business then and like where I am now 6 months later. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy, but it's been honestly nothing but God.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. I did have another question before we get into the actual questions. So you said you were going to school to be a doctor. What type of doctor exactly?
I was going to school to become an anesthesiologist.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's degree in biochemistry. And because COVID hit, I took a break. I actually didn't have such like a strong GPA, so I started to go take some post-bac classes to boost my GPA. Then COVID hit. Then I got married. Then I had a kid, and then I was like, I'm going back to school. I promised everybody I'm going back to school. But then like I was like, you're not going back to school because your whole identity has been wrapped up in this whole identity of being a doctor. And you honestly don't need to become a doctor because that's not the type of life that you want. And so, found myself in the wilderness having to hang up that dream. I've always wanted to be a doctor since I was 5 or 6 years old because my dad passed away when I was 6 years old. And I remember going to the hospital and just like being so, even though it was very like morbid, I was just very interested in, the whole like how to save someone's life and how you're at the brink of life or death. And so it was really, I feel like at that moment, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. And I carried out that vision for a very long time, but then,
Okay.
That's awesome.
I'm myself here.
Hey, life happens, right? And sometimes it steers us through a different path that we didn't know we needed sometimes. So it's awesome. That's great to hear.
I know for a fact I've definitely changed my direction many times. Many times what I wanted to do until you figure it out for sure,
Yeah, and I feel like when you are as a child, like you think you want to do something, and then when you finally actually experience life, or you either shadow somebody, you realize like that's not even what I want. Like I wanted to be a doctor, but I also like to have my weekends. Like I like to go to church.
Right.
I don't like to be on call all the time.
Right.
I'm a family-oriented person. It would break my heart if I can't make my kids games and stuff because I'm working. So it's like, what you want is not in alignment with what you want. And so
Right.
it really made me realize like that's definitely not the path that I need to go, especially because mentally, you see all of these people that were doctors during COVID and spending all of their time to become physicians and realizing like at that moment that this was not what they wanted to do anymore. And so all of this experience and all of the schooling that they invested, all of the money they invested to become physicians kind of just went out the door. And one lady that I really looked up to that was an anesthesiologist out here, she hung up her white coat. Now she sells candles and she absolutely loves it. She makes a killing making these candles. Yeah. And so she's like, I'm never going back to medicine because I have the freedom to do what I want to be available for my kids. And, I love my job. I love my business. And I don't have to worry about always being disposable at, the hospital's request. So, yeah, put things into perspective for sure.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I like that for her, and I like that for you, to find something that not only that you enjoy, but it actually works out for you, and it's actually going as you intend for it to go, and it's your business is growing. So that's a really good thing. And I think you have a lot of good people behind you to help support that too. So that's also good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Y'all have any other questions for Carly before we get started?
I actually did. Because you said you really wanted to be a doctor since you were 6 years old. Was there a moment in your life where you like the light bulb went off on your head and you were just like, I don't want to do that anymore? I mean, besides knowing that, you wanted to spend time with your kids, you were family oriented. Was there like a specific moment? Because up until, like you said, during COVID, you were still thinking about going back to school. At what moment did you think, I don't want to do this anymore?
Well, I would say like even going through undergrad, like undergrad was so hard for me. And I feel like it was hard for me because I felt like I needed to go get a biology degree or a biochemistry degree because that's what doctors do. And then finding out like I didn't even need to do that. So I really put myself for no reason. Yeah. So yeah, for all the people that are out there, if you want to become a doctor, you can major in like art if you want to.
Anything.
Something that's completely unrelated, like just as long as you have like the prerequisite courses, you can major in whatever, art, philosophy, general studies, English, whatever. So I was thinking that I had to go, and that's because nobody told me this. Nobody told me this. I just knew I had to go get a science degree because I want to be a doctor, because doctors, they know science. And
like you think it makes sense. Like it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And then, I was already in the thick of it when I found out. And I'm like, wow, I could have definitely, dipped my toes in like other things, try other things. And, maybe took up marketing, maybe, business, so something like that I feel like would have been more transferable in the real world. Granted, I mean, I was able to secure a job right out of college, in my field, but like, it doesn't happen like that for a lot of people that have these degrees. And so, it's just like, college was hard for me. And the thought of taking the MCAT always had in the back of my head, like, do I really want to do this? Like, because that's a whole nother beast within itself.
Yeah.
So I think that between me becoming a mom and realizing like, I watched my mom work so hard because she was a single mom since my dad passed away, and like how, I was in sports. My mom wasn't able to, come and eat lunch with me on a random Wednesday or bring me Chick-fil-A or anything like that. And I really wanted that for my son, because I would see all the other kids and I would get so sad that my mom could never come. But, I just realized like after becoming a mom, you just have a different like viewpoint,
perspective.
That's so cliche, but you just look at things. It's like, is this really valuable? Is this really that important?
Right.
So and I think Mother's Day this year was really emotional for me because I was able to go to Muffins with Mom, and oh my God, I was like, I love it here.
That's awesome.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely being a mom would definitely change your perspective on different things and just show you what you value more than other things. So I could see that. All right, so let's get into these questions. All right. So first question, what is a mompreneur?
So okay, so this is something that I didn't even know was actually a real thing. Somebody came, I don't remember who it was, but somebody called me a mompreneur on one of my posts that I had posted about like because I was typing on the computer, but I was holding my baby, and I was talking about how, like, by any means necessary, I'm gonna make it happen or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, that's a mompreneur." And I'm like, mompreneur? Like, I actually like the swing of that. And so basically a mompreneur is just like a mom that's chasing after her business. She doesn't allow like being a mom to stop her from achieving her dreams and her goals. And if she wants to start, if she wants to just do whatever she wants to do outside of being a mom and, working for someone else, like, that's a mompreneur. Whether you're a content creator, you own a business, whether you just have a hobby like that you somehow figured out how to monetize, that's what a mompreneur is to me. Because I feel like a lot of people think that whenever you become a mom, like, your life is on pause. And that's the thing I did not want to happen to me. I was like, by any means necessary, I'm not gonna like cause me being a mom to stop me from chasing after what I want in life. Right. And so that's been my whole motto. So I took it and ran with it.
That's awesome.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think I found my more entrepreneur side like after I kind of had an entrepreneur side prior to my daughter. I used to do hair in college and stuff. And then like after I had it, I'm like, I don't have time to do nobody's hair. Like, I don't have time to do my hair. I ain't got time to do her hair. So I'm like, I don't have, I can't do this particularly. But it's just like I found myself starting a business, and I'm like, okay, I like this, but I'm also a mom. But I think the whole idea behind it is just trying to find something that can work with your lifestyle to help you free up time. And I know we're like in a whole nother generation now to where we're not really trying to work those whole 40 hours. And granted, if you have a business, you will work more than 40 hours majority of the time because it's your business. But it's more so you doing something that you would rather do more than 40 hours for versus something that is taking up your time and not really benefiting you. So I found like the entrepreneur side of it a lot more fun, a lot more beneficial, things that I felt like I was more interested in, that I didn't mind taking the time out to learn. A lot of the things that I do know in business, I taught myself. I didn't learn it from, I learned from some people. I did have some mentors throughout these last couple of years. But for the majority of the time, it's like researching, learning the business and models yourself. And just being a mom, still having, life still evolving, you still got to do what you got to do at home, but also, being on that other side of being an entrepreneur and figuring out what works best for you.
Yeah, that's real. That's really real. And I feel like one thing that I realized is that, and I'm pretty sure we'll get into this, is that, like, sometimes we have those things where we're like, oh, this would be a good idea that we could make some money. And it's not sustainable because we more so go into it thinking about the money. But then one thing where you're pouring into people and it comes so easy and natural to you, something that you would do for free, and it's kind of just a plus that you get paid to do it, that's like, that's when you really, really, really have like hit the pot, the gold pot in life, because you'll start to feel more fulfilled doing that thing, and then you'll find yourself, up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning working on that. And it doesn't feel like it because it doesn't feel like work because you're so passionate about it,
Right.
Hence this podcast that we started for free and that we do for free.
It's okay. It's okay. And that's
editing at 2 o'clock in the morning half the time.
Yeah. Man. And the thing is, the more you can be consistent with that thing, then you'll expand your reach. A lot of people will get to know about it. And then, next thing you know, people like, hey, can we get a little commercial, up in your podcast?
Yeah.
It's definitely just, it's all a journey.
It is.
And I think you guys made a good...
I know we will get into it, but it's definitely a journey.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point when you're saying, it's being committed and being able to understand that it's not about the money. Like, you it's not going to be money first. I've spoken to people that have businesses that started the businesses, and they're like, first 2 or 3 years of my business, it was a loss. I had no winnings. It was all about investing in my business and putting money in to market myself, to, market my business. And I think people don't understand that. I think a lot of business owners, mompreneurs make it look so easy that people are like, oh, I can do that. But they don't realize that there's so much commitment from these people that comes in just doing everything, starting from the bottom, having to, like you guys said, those crazy hours at night because you're putting yourself in there. You're investing in your business, and it's not always as easy as people think it might be.
Yeah, and you may find yourself like literally in the red for at least the first 3 years of your business. But if you are doing it based on the money, like at that point, someone would give up. But if someone is passionate and they see the greater good, they know that all of the seeds that they planted in those first 3 years will eventually harvest into something.
Right.
And the first couple of years, you're not really seeing no profit. It's because you invested in, all of this equipment, software, this, that, and the third. It's a lot. And so, especially anytime when I first started, I would get my first client. I'm like, okay, I got me a little money, but then here we go. I gotta go buy this light. I gotta go do this. I ain't see none of that in my account. It was all gone. Okay. So it's like, if you are really just driven on the idea of making money, it's not going to be sustainable, because by year 1, year 2, if you make it, you will because it doesn't make sense at the beginning. You're putting out all this money and you're not seeing it in return in a profit. So, it's like, it doesn't make sense. But if it's a greater good and a bigger goal, you would definitely be able to endure through that time.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when I started my boutique business. Like, girl, like part of me
started a hair business.
I had hair.
Jay's been everywhere.
I did taxes. What else? I did marketing. I had my own branding and I had a social media agency too as well.
Wow.
Yep. And then I started the boutique. And I think the hardest one that was most costly was the boutique, because you had to buy all this inventory. And it would frustrate me because it's like, I want to add more inventory to the inventory, but it's like I have to sell what I have. And I think what I struggled with was trying to market what I already had, and then sitting on that stuff for so long and then not having nowhere to put it, not having the money to come in to replace it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it's for me, because like, I can't just, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I really still have clothes right now from like 3 years ago that I haven't sold. And I'm just like, I'm just going to give it a Goodwill. Somebody will appreciate it.
Wow.
But it's a process. And then I see all these other people. Like, there's this one girl who I look up to. She has a boutique business, and she makes millions in her business. She's a one-woman business. I think she has a little bit of a team behind her, but she doesn't really have to spend money on multiple employees and things like that. So she makes bank. And I'm like, dang, that's what I was just hoping to get to, but it just takes so much to get to that. And she's been in business for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just
there you go. 10 years.
10 years. But imagine how much she had to put up front at year 1 and year 2.
Yeah.
I guess that's a question I have. Were there ever points during your journey that you wanted to give up?
Of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah. No, I'm like, So let me just be completely honest with you. Entrepreneurship was never, ever, ever on my radar, because my mom, my mom was a realtor, and she also has her own business. And I just didn't like the inconsistency. Like, I like to have my 9 to 5, my 40 hours. I get paid salary. So every month or every other week, I know I'm getting this amount of deposited on this day at this time. My insurance is paid.
I respect that.
All of those things. Like, I'm not doing, are you kidding me? Like, people talk about they going months and years without getting paid. Are you crazy?
Yeah, that's scary.
That is so scary. And that's why I was like, when God was like, you're going to be an entrepreneur, I was like, that's funny. But people always tell me, like, you're such a great leader. Like, you would be a great entrepreneur. And I just would laugh. I'm like, I have no desire to even do that. Like, I'm going to be a doctor, you know? So this is something very comfortable and very cushiony, and I'm gonna get paid on this day, and I'm gonna get paid this amount, and I know exactly how it's gonna go. That's what's gonna happen. But yeah, it was never supposed to happen this way. And honestly, I felt like after, I would say after month 2, when I was spending all my little pennies that I had saved up, to like purchase all this software, and I was like, okay, got it up really quickly, and I ain't seeing nothing come in. So yeah, something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. And I honestly have that thought a lot. Like even when I had a business partner and we ended up falling out and I had to start over, I was like,
oh no,
do I even want to do this anymore? You know?
Yeah.
So there's been several times where it's like peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
But definitely, like I said, when you have that deeper purpose, that's what's going to keep you continuing to press on instead of giving up. Because if it wasn't for that, I definitely would have gave up a long time ago.
And let's just say that you really do have like you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but as far as like the road that you're on now with your agency that you have, like you are literally good at content creating. I watch your content all the time, and I'm just like, I don't see how she do it. Like,
oh my God,
I'm trying to get as good as you. Like, really.
You know, I'm really emotional, so please stop.
That's all. Okay.
No, that means a lot. That really does mean a lot, because I mean, you know, I feel like we're all out here. We don't know what we're doing. We just learning on the go, on demand. Yep. And so when someone like, you know, encourages you and pours into you and say like, you know, I see you and you're doing amazing, it makes me so emotional. It really does.
So quick question. You said you had a business partner and y'all fell out. Was it because of the business, or was it
the eye twitch?
Because this happens a lot, and you know, a lot of people go into business together, and if you just don't, you know, some people don't make it out. So that's why I was wondering, was it because of the business, or was it something personal?
No, I would say so. Yeah, just to give you a little backstory, I had a business partner, and this is something that was completely new, because I've always been a type of person, if I see like, you know, someone is so-and-so is good at this and I need help with this. Okay, come help me. We can do this together. Yeah. That's always been my mindset all the time as I go through life. Because I'm trying to put the whole team on. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah. When I met my business partner, yeah, we hit it off like so, like it was so organic, and it really had to be God, because like all of the goals and things that I wanted to reach, like she was in alignment in that same, you know, that same area. And so it's like, I'm saying the same thing, you saying the same thing, girl, let's come together and make this thing happen. And so it was just like, you know how you experience someone and it feels like you've been knowing them your whole entire life, but you just met them. It was one of those types of friendship. And I was just so thankful for our friendship. So yeah, we went through, she was a photographer and I was doing like social media management. And we were experiencing like a lot of traffic. A lot of people just inquiring, like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all making some noise on the internet. Like, who are y'all? Yeah. So they're hosting events and co-working spaces and places for people to just connect and network. Yeah. So, you know, it was a great time. But then at the end of the year, like, I think because we were doing so much, I found myself extremely like tired, tired, to where December, I took a sabbatical. I was like, listen, we're closing our calendars. We're not adding anything onto our calendar. We're not taking any clients. We're not doing anything. We're taking December to rest. We took December to rest. And in January, everyone's like, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And everyone's like, New Year, new me. You know, I was still feeling so exhausted, like still after a whole month of being off. And so I was literally driving in my car and God was like, yeah, you need to fast from social media. Now, mind you, January was when we were planning the content workshop that that you guys attended. And so I'm like, I cannot, you know, log off of social media in the middle of a launch. Like, that's crazy.
Right. You know? Yeah.
And so God was just like, are you going to be obedient or are you going to go on your own understanding? And I was like,
Right.
So what did I do? I had to tell my business partner, hey, I understand that we launching this workshop, but God just told me I got to log off social media. Yeah. And in that moment, it felt like, you know, she was understanding of that. And so, you know, she was like, okay, you know, I support you. Do what you have to do in order. So I was going to be off for 21 days. And that's the way that, this is crazy. That's the way God works. Because the 21st day was the day of the workshop. So the
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
so the whole 21 days of launching, and we have all this content that needs to go out. Carlos is offline, like completely offline. So yeah, after that, we ended up falling out because we could not come to an agreement on, you know, how to communicate, how to treat one another whenever, you know, someone is experiencing this spiritual warfare or whatever. And it's like, okay, you feel that this is this way, but, you know, I'm led by the Spirit. So I can't really, you know, I understand that that's a business decision, but God is go, and whatever he says goes. And so that's that. I'm sorry that you felt that way, you know, and it just was best for us to part ways. We still came together to kick off the workshop, but after that, we just ended up going separate ways because it was best. We ended up working, you know, having different communication styles and different ways that we, you know, handle conflict. And so I feel like in that moment, you know, I was devastated.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I felt like I got hit in the jugular, and I was like at, you know, 80 steps ahead and got knocked down to ground zero. It was so hard for me. I literally went through this whole depression. It was that. But yeah, from that moment, I definitely wanted to give up. Because I was like, all these people are gonna ask me what happened to my business partner because I ain't supposed to you know, and I'm like, I can't worry about that. I gotta keep going. So
I kind of peeped that, but I was like, I'm gonna mind my business. I kind of peeped that, but I'm gonna mind my business.
And it also sounds like you were just burnt out. It sounds like you were just burnt out. If you had such a busy year.
We just were not doing. I know we couldn't come that time, but I felt like we were going back. We were doing things because of the money and not because we were good. Chasing the money, even when it doesn't make sense. I don't work on Sundays, but somehow I'm working on Sundays. Like you know, I like to spend time with my family, but sometimes like I'm spending a lot of weekends away from my family. And so it was just like us chasing this opportunity. And then next thing you know, like my priorities were kind of getting missed. So that's how you really start to experience burnout for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So let's see. Next question on the block is okay, cool. So talking about content and things like that. So when it comes to blah. When it comes to content creation, what works best? So as a mompreneur trying to market herself, what would work best?
When you're saying like what platforms would work best, is that what you're talking about? Or
well, not what platforms, I guess like what type of content? Because you know, I see a lot of people who, and maybe it just depends on what their niche is. Like some people are the day in the life, you know, and they're posting things with their kid, and like you know how you would do you and Avery, and then you would post about your business, and you also post like just what you're doing throughout the day and what you just whatever. So like what content works best for a mompreneur?
Yeah, so I feel like, I mean, and honestly, I could be just like a serial content creator, but first of all, managing 2 pages, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. However, if you do have a business that has nothing to do with your personal life, then obviously you have to, But so to answer your question, with my personal brand, I like to use that as a place to get people behind the scenes of like what goes on behind the brand. So me as a wife, me as a mom, me as having meltdowns because of things that happen. Like I was talking about how my first launch was kind of like a flop. But yeah, like having like those vulnerable moments, because I feel like, sometimes with social media, we feel like we have to make everything so perfect, which is why and that's honestly how I got started as an influencer. I'm like, I have to have a photographer. I have to have these cute outfits. I have to do that. And that's not who I am, not even 10% of the week. Okay. And so I felt like this shift going towards like an actual, being authentically me. Like showing up when I have a bonnet on at 12 o'clock. That's me. You know, if I go to the gym with no makeup on, no lashes, no glam, like that's me.
Mm-hmm.
And like using that as an opportunity to kind of share, like, you know, not the average entrepreneur does not, you know, get glam and look glam all day.
All day.
Yeah, so my personal brand is more so to show behind the scenes, behind the lens of me as an entrepreneur, whereas like my business page is more so to cultivate that community, you know, of women that need help with marketing with their businesses. So when it comes to which one is best, I feel like it is important to have a personal brand because sometimes people just want to see who is, you know, who's behind the brand.
Yeah.
Anytime you think about buying something, you are like, okay, well, who's the owner? Who did
Yeah.
you know, person? And then if you can connect with that person instantly, like it's like a easy sell. And so that's one reason why, like, I didn't want to just completely nix my personal brand because I wanted people that wanted to get to know me, have a place to go to like see me and experience me in all of my, you know, fullness of personality.
Right.
So I definitely think like having content where you can be authentically you. Yes, you can dress up and be glam and do all of these, take cute pictures, that's fine. But also like show the authentic version of you because that's the part of you that your customer and people that are going to actually like spend their money with you, they want to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to point out, I got this really cute straw from Starbucks.
I saw that. I wasn't able to get it.
I randomly went one day and they were like, oh, it's a reusable straw.
That's cute.
Even the plastic that it came with was like fabulous because I couldn't even get the damn straw out the plastic. I was like, what plastic is this?
Did you keep the plastic?
No, it's gone.
I'm just making sure.
This is my favorite straw. Oh, so it was a thing. They had a thing going on. You got the straw?
Yeah, they had straw day. So you know how Starbucks is trying to go like green by, I don't know, 2020 something. Well, the part of the straw is because they don't want to be giving all those non-reusable straws. So that's why they hand it out to like people. And I think I saw some people were getting like 2 at a time because they were like basically they're trying to help with the going green. Like even their reusable cups, their cheapest reusable cups are like $3. Look at me. Starbucks sponsor me.
That part.
Yeah, because I just randomly went one day and I'm like, oh, a nice straw. I don't like this.
Yeah, that they announced it like a week before. So even like when they have their red cup day, those lines are horrible because everybody's trying to get their free red cup.
Yeah, I bet. Shit, I'd probably be in that line too. On a random day, didn't even know it was red cup day. Just there because I wanted some food.
I spend money at Starbucks anyway, so yeah, I'm there.
It's sad how much money I spend. I'm trying not to, but
all right, let's see. Next question. So what are some benefits to being a mompreneur? I think we kind of mentioned them earlier, just having that time, right? That flexibility. But what are some other benefits to being a mompreneur that you can think of?
I would definitely say cultivating a community of other mompreneurs. Because, you know, whenever you feel like you're a part of a community, like you vouch for those people that are part of that community like no other, you know? So when I meet like other mompreneurs, it's like, oh, I know so-and-so, she does lashes, or I know so-and-so, she sells this. Yeah. So it's like, if I have someone that, you know, that is a mompreneur and one that's, I'm not going to say I'm not going to, you know, tell the other person, but I'm a vouch for my mompreneur because we here.
Right, you know? Right.
Yeah. I think having that community is very important. Having the freedom is very important. And then just kind of like being able to just be your own boss. Like you get to make the rules. If you want to have your baby in a corporate meeting, then bring your baby. There's many times, and I'm so unapologetic about that. Like I let people know ahead of time. And I feel like that's why more so I wanted to serve this community for my services, because it's like, I don't want to be the corporate stiff, like, you know, if y'all see my baby running up in this video, like we know we in good company because, you know, hometown I'm talking to, she's like, girl, don't worry about it. My 3 kids is, you know, back here.
Yeah.
I gotta put them on mute. So, you know, it's just the being able to have that community and have people that actually get it and actually like, you know, can relate to what you're experiencing is like top tier for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
So this is unrelated, but it's related in a way because of how you said that, you know, you may bring your kid to like a meeting or whatever, and that's just, you know, that's the culture kind of like, you know, it's not serious, it's not stiff. And it kind of just made me think about like Google, like, you know, how they have those campuses and like all these employees, and they got workout facilities, they got cafes, they got like all the things that make you want to be at work. Like I saw someone's campus, they had like a tier of like seating to where they had like those cushions on them and people just sitting there with their legs crossed and they're on their little laptops and stuff. I'm like, what type of working is this? Like, it's so relaxed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the one benefit.
Being able to have your own type of culture and what type of culture you want to attract, like that is just that's top tier for me. I feel like when I first started, I felt like I had to be this corporate, you know, and you can kind of tell like from my first brand photos, I'm like, I have to have a suit and a blazer. That's not even me. So my second brand shoot, I'm like, girl, we about to wear this denim jumpsuit with some heels.
Yes.
Like just vibe out and be authentically me. And I feel like when you first start a business, you think in order for you to be successful, like you have to fit into, you know, this corporate world. And it's like, no, you're the boss here. So you can create what type of culture you want to convey. And the people that are for you will vibe with you, and the people that want to be stiff will go vibe with the stiff folk.
Yep. I think that was kind of our idea when we started our podcast. We were like, we drink, we curse, like we're not trying to be anybody, like anything to anybody. Like we are who we are. Either you like us or you don't. If you don't, there's somebody who is more for you. But we want people that's for us to accept us how we come, not having to change our personalities and what we like to do just to get you to like us. I feel like there's somebody for everybody.
That part.
Hence, as I drink my tequila.
There you go.
The tequila that she cannot drink. She cannot handle.
She's gonna have a headache.
And she's moving.
Water.
Have a headache.
She's
supposed to be moving.
And she gonna blame it on the moving. She gonna be like, my head hurt because I was moving. No, it's
up and down the stairs. You need to be drinking some water.
I was drinking water.
But I think you made a good point, Carly, when you mentioned community, because I've gotten so many people to tell me, oh my God, you guys talk about some of the topics that people don't want to bring up. And I think like Shay said, we're very unapologetically us. So we curse, we talk, we agree, then we disagree. And it's funny because I've gotten feedback where they're like, oh my God, I hear you guys talking and the stuff you're saying, you're right. Like, you know, we talk a lot about problems that we've had as minority, being raised up as minority. And they're like, yeah, my mom was the same way. They're like, they're like, you were that PTSD kept coming up and I kept hearing because I was like, that was my mama.
Yep.
And it feels good to where people are like, yeah, they vibe with you. They understand what you're saying. And it's like, we're not the only ones that have gone through, you know, our life experiences.
Yeah.
We might have just gone through it a certain way, but people, you know, have lived through we have shared experiences too. And it feels good to be able to put it out there and then for people to come back and be like, yeah, I understand. I totally get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's see. What time is it? Okay. Let's see. Next question. Okay. What are some tips for women who are trying to build a business while being a mom and or a wife?
I love this question. So I think, and I was actually on live yesterday with another business, and we were kind of getting into this. So one thing that I would definitely recommend is not sleeping on your gifts. That's number one. Everyone is blessed to have a gift, whether that is you doing hair, whether that is you cooking food, whether you are good, like it could be anything. You can be good at painting or, you know, like whatever. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people think is that, like, say for instance, you know, a lot of people think that like there are certain gifts that aren't, you know, beneficial or they feel like it's not something that, you know, they could actually turn into a business. And the thing is that, and I spent my time in my devotional today, and it was talking about how, like, you know, God gives us all gifts, but he also expects for us to steward over those gifts, because there are people out here that need our gifts. And so I think about people that think like their jobs are not important, like janitors, or not saying, you know, janitors are important, but there are some janitors that may feel like, you know, I'm so minute, or mechanics, or like artists. I don't know, like everybody has a group of people that they have to serve. Imagine if we did, if
Absolutely.
we had life without janitors. Imagine if we had life without mechanics. Imagine if
or
we
like a
had
life without maids. Like I moved into my new apartment and that mug was perfection. And I'm just like, wow, like somebody really had to put their elbow grease in to get this place like moving ready to where it didn't look like nobody else lived there before me.
Yes. So imagine even that. Imagine not having having a world without someone whose gift is cleaning. You know,
housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Yes, because there's a mom that may be struggling mentally. You know, she doesn't have the time to clean up her whole house. She needs her house to be clean in order to be in a good mindset, you know, to be able to conquer the things that she needs to do, but she needs help. And so that's when, you know, someone that does housekeeping, their gift is blessing somebody else. And so I feel like a lot of people think that their gifts are not as important because it's not like, oh, I'm not a speaker, or I'm not a realtor, like those money,
the big money maker ones.
The big money makers, they think that because it's not a big money maker that it's not a gift. It's a gift. And God holds us accountable to use those gifts to help other people. And so I definitely say don't sleep on your gifts. That's number one. But also, like, it's very important for you to market yourself. And although we think that social media is, you know, the only tool to market, it is probably like the least what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't convert as much. And the reason being is because social media allows us to follow any and everybody, even people that we aren't even interested in their content. They probably just posted a cute picture and you was like, follow, right? But people spend so much time on social media thinking that if I spend all this time on social media, then, you know, my business will pop off, instead of spending time to create a community of people that actually need their product or need their service. And so one of the things that I tell people is like, yes, you can spend all this time on social media, building your audience, creating content, wanting to grow followers, but you need to find your people. So you need to be talking, these people that are following you, that are liking, that are commenting, talk to these people. Get them to sign up for your email list. If you don't have one, get one immediately. Like you should have an email list before you have a social media account, okay? Because when you have someone that can give you their email address, you know, that's them telling you like, hey, I trust you. I'm interested. They're literally raising their hand like, I'm interested in whatever it is that you're selling. So if you're spending time cultivating your community on your email list, right? Whenever it comes time for you to sell something, like, hey, y'all, I'm coming out with a new product. These people are already like 10 toes down. Versus people, you know, Courtney, who just followed me because I posted a cute outfit in my jumpsuit, she's not interested. But yeah, I'm spending all my time focused on Courtney when I need to be focusing on the people on my email list, you know?
Right.
Okay.
And so I definitely say, don't put all your eggs. Yes, social media is a great tool.
I agree.
But don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if there's something that you're unsure about, definitely ask for help. Don't feel like you do everything on your own, especially when you're getting started. It's so easy to fall into the trap of, I have to do everything myself because I don't want to invest or because I don't have the money to invest. Plant those seeds. Like anytime you think about investing into something, that's a seed that will later reap a harvest, right? So it's like, you may not see the harvest of that seed this year, this month, this week, or this day, but in due time, that seed is getting water. As long as that seed is getting water and sunlight and food, you know, eventually it's going to turn into some fruit. And so later on in life, you know, you built that connection on year one. Say you're down, you know, year 3 or whatever. This person that you met on year 1 might be somebody to get you to the next, you know, the next point in your career. So definitely don't sleep on investing in yourself. And look at investing in yourself as planting seeds in your business, because that's what's going to help you continue to grow and grow exponentially.
Okay.
I definitely agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with that. And
Okay.
so we have our little cups that we don't use anymore, but they're somewhere
No,
out
I still
there.
use my cup. It's just packed in a
Mine.
box.
And then I also got this Yeti cup, like custom made. I'm gonna show it to y'all later, but I got me one first with our QR codes because I'm gonna carry it everywhere drinking my water, but it's gonna have our
Yes.
QR code on there.
Oh, that
I
is such a
gotta
good
see
one.
it because I want
Yeah.
See,
one
that's marketing.
already.
That's
Yeah, definitely. Because you know why? Because I thought of it. I saw this guy the other day in his truck. He had his Instagram account, and I'm like, and I looked at it, and I'm like, it had something catchy. So I'm looking it up. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I wasn't even interested. It was like trucks and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not even interested in this stuff. But you know what? It made me go want to see what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder what I could do. And then they had like a sell on Yeti cups. And they had the free imaging. So, of course, I got our little Neapolitan Scoop Podcast on there. And in the back, I did
Okay.
our QR code.
yes.
So I'm like, I'm going to try this out and test it out and see because I'm going to the gym now. I'm like, I'm going to take my little water bottle and see if we get some followers from the
Come
gym. And then we
on.
can get you guys one.
Oh,
So y'all
But
follow,
I definitely
Congratulations, Rose.
follow the
But
podcast from the cup. Kudos to you, marketing.
yes.
Marketing.
Look, but I definitely agree with the fact that like social media isn't everything. I feel sometimes like people talk to you, and I've had people come up to me and like ask me. I think the other day I have like our mug around or something. Someone's like, "What's that?" They're like, "I've never heard of that podcast." I'm like, "It's a podcast," and then we start talking about it. They're like, "Wow, okay," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, what is it about?" And I think for me, the hardest thing is marketing to men because we're so like women
women
oriented.
orient. Yep. Yep.
Yes. So they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, you know what? It's not for anybody, for everybody. But if you're ever bored, go ahead and sign up. Go listen to us. Go, I'm like, we talk about men all the time. If you ever want to comment, come in. You're welcome.
Oh, do
And
we?
he's like, you don't be shooting men down, do you? I'm like, yes, we do. Sometimes we.
At least you're honest.
Yes.
Okay.
Just from a woman's perspective, just from my perspective,
Like, now wait one
Yeah.
minute.
So I definitely agree that social media isn't anything. I think it's people think it's a big part of marketing your business, but
Mhm.
I think there's so many other things that can help with that. It's sometimes the
Yeah.
smaller things that we don't even think about.
Yes, yes. Like I literally just came from Essence Fest, and there were like, all of these people that they were so unique in their ways. Like, of course, people have flyers. Some people,
Yeah.
was giving out free product with their QR codes on the back, but it was really just, marketing is just marketing. The easy way to explain what marketing is telling people about your business. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you do that? That's up to you. You
Yeah.
got print, you have podcasts, you have audio, you have digital, you have social media, you have TV, radio, email, like the list goes on and on and on. We have all of these different methods of reaching people who we can't put our hands to each and every day. And so it's like, yes, social media, it is a great way and it is a fast way to reach people, but it is not the only thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Definitely.
Yep.
Also, just getting out in front of people too, like networking as well. Because it's one thing to be behind a computer screen or behind a social media account, but it's another when you're like in person with people and like, just communicating and talking to people, and people are, like you said, like you have their community of people. So even if it's like us getting out and networking with other podcast people, we've had some podcast people follow us on Instagram as well. And I know I have a friend who I went to high school with, Alonzo. He has a podcast, and I wouldn't have known he had a podcast if it wasn't for me putting on it. I think it was Facebook about my podcast, and he was like, "I want to have a podcast. We should link up." I thought he was joking. I laughed at him. I don't know why I laughed at him, but I was like, it's just, I don't know why. I just thought it was funny. Maybe how he said it is why I laughed. But he legitimately has a podcast, and his podcast is doing really good. And I'm like, we actually met up with him one night for like a little networking thing, and got to meet his podcast members. So it's like really important to get out there in front of people and then just talk about your business, like no matter where or what, where it's at. So yeah. We should probably get us.
Hard.
It would be cool if we had like an ice cream social with some Neapolitan Scoop ice cream and just be like, "Hey, you want some ice cream?"
Ice cream giveaway.
You can definitely do that.
Ice cream
I'm pretty
giveaway.
sure there are several ice cream shops that would love to partner with y'all. That's definitely a way for people to, So don't sleep on that idea. That's actually a brilliant idea.
See, I just thought of that just now.
By the way,
put it in your thought bank. So you don't forget it, Shay.
Right,
because I'm like, tequila. because you're drinking tequila.
We can have a Neapolitan Scoop day.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So before we hop off, Harley, I know that you recently had, was it an ebook that dropped? Can you tell us about that? Because I need to buy it. I need to get it. I need to get it.
Well, yeah, and honestly, that was the launch that I was talking about. So, just to give you a little backstory, because I feel like, and this could probably go with the previous question, but it's important for you to know your target audience. A lot of people would ask me, how do you partner with brands? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I was like, okay, clearly some people, want this or whatever. So I created this ebook teaching people how to like market themselves and how to present themselves as an authentic person to even partner with, and then how to pitch themselves and, slide in the DMs of these brands so that you can actually monetize your current following. And so it was good. Like my launch was good, but I really wanted it to be great,
Yeah.
I felt like I put all of this time and effort focusing on the ebook, but like that's not what majority of my audience, like it was a handful of people that wanted it. And so I went all in this idea, but then like the other hand, or the other 75%, there's like 25% that was interested in this, and then there's 75% that was not. And so it's kind of like, it was good, but it wasn't great, because 75% of my community was like, girl, we don't want to be an influencer. We want to learn how to market our business, or how to have somebody else do it for us, because we're busy. Okay. So that's why it's important for you to know. You have to know your audience. Know your target audience. What are their pain points? What are their challenges? What are their goals? What do they not have time to do? What is it that they want more of? And figure out how to tug on their heartstrings and create a solution for them. That helped me realize real quickly, like, who was in the room, because, even the people that bought the ebook were people that I didn't even know. First of all, I had some of my family that was like, we're going to buy the book because it's you. But most of the people that bought the book were people that like, I didn't know. And the people that was asking for the book didn't even buy it. So I'll leave that there. Okay.
That's how it be.
But like, yes, somebody may say like, hey, yeah, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do that? Sometimes people don't want to spend their money. But that's what I'm saying. If you create a community of the people that support you, that love you, that, really are honed in on whatever you offer, focus on those people. Don't just focus on the random followers that be asking for help, but ain't going to support you when you drop something. Okay. Focus on the people that's going to actually like invest in you, actually raise their ends, actually need your services,
Yeah. So I'm on the website. Where do I go to get it?
Yes.
I'm one of those people. I'm like, I feel so seen. I'm one of those people who was like,
plug, so we can put the little link up here.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I need to go look and see, because I want to say I probably took it down. But I lied, because somebody bought it yesterday. This morning or yesterday? Yesterday morning. Today, the days all feel the same. Somebody bought it. So I don't know who found it. Somebody found it. I'll definitely send you.
Okay.
I'm like,
send it to me, because I saw it when you first launched it, but I can't find it on the website.
Look at me trying to find it myself. Okay.
And I like the new site too.
Oh, thank you, girl.
Yeah, I can tell you put your work into
it. That was me investing in myself, because I had somebody do it for me, child. I did not do that at all.
Did you tell someone?
Send us the link, Shay.
Okay. I will do that.
Here it is.
Okay,
creating a website is a headache.
No, it is. Creating a website.
Creating a website is a headache.
It definitely. That's why I had somebody do it for me.
Yeah, I started doing ours, and then midway I was like, this is too much.
Yeah, and the thing is, I made it all pretty for the desktop, but then it was like 97% of users use via mobile. Girl, my mobile version of my website that I created for myself. Their stuff was everywhere. I was like, oh no, get somebody else to do it. No. Like, it was cute for the desktop, but only 2 people was gonna see it.
Yeah, that's true. Because people have their phones in their hands majority of the time anyway.
All the time.
all the
Right.
time.
Right.
So that makes sense. Okay. So yes, we're gonna get the link for y'all and we're gonna drop that so y'all can get Carly's ebook.
Yes.
So we can monetize our social media accounts and get those first $1,000 clients or bookings or what you call them? What they call partnerships,
Brand
whatever they call
partnership.
collabs.
Yes.
Collab.
Because that's what we need. So that's
And
why I want to
that's
get
the
it for
crazy
us
thing.
because we need that.
People think you need a lot of followers to do that, and you really don't. I literally, when I was marketing my ebook, I was telling you, I was like, literally, I got my first $1,000 partnership, like my first year of influence, and I want to say I had like 1,200 followers. Like it wasn't nothing, and it was like it was a doggy daycare that wanted me to bring my dog, and they wanted to train my dog and do all kinds of stuff, and I would have to make pictures and reels. Yeah, super easy. And I had to send them the content, but like I didn't even have to post it. I posted it, but I didn't even have to. But yeah, you don't need a whole bunch of followers to make money online. And then if you pitch yourself, like you only increase your revenue income potential, however, comma, you may find yourself pitching, like sending out at least like 50 pitches and only getting like 2 responses. And of those 2 responses, one may be a no. So that's the caveat to it. It's a lot of work. However, it is possible.
Yeah, I've been busy trying to get us some collabs and promotions and stuff like that. But like you said, I've sent maybe like 50 within the last 3 weeks, and I still haven't gotten a response from anybody. But
and that's the part that's hard, you know, with but if you're consistent with it, and then you also have to make sure that you are, you know, speaking to the challenges of the brand, because like why would we partner with you? You're just like a regular other person that's reaching out for, you know, partnership. So if you figure out how to tug on the heartstrings of the brand, like, hey, I see that you don't have, you know, diversity on your social media. Well, I would love to create some content to help you, you know, increase your diversity of your content. Or say, for instance, you know, they just post photos. Like I see, you know, you don't have no video content on your page, and video content is actually way more high engagement than photos. Like I would love to create videos for you. I absolutely love your brand. It would come easy to me, you know? So when you like speak to a problem that the brand has, you already offer a solution. It's like a giving. Whereas if you're just randomly reaching out to some, like say, for instance, like Dove. Hey Dove, I love your products. Let's collab. They're not gonna answer. Like
Dove's gonna be like, who
they get from partnering with you? Who are you? Like, so that's important. And you just want to make sure that it's in alignment and it makes sense, you know, like some people, you know, I'm gonna go pitch to Mercedes Benz, but it's like you don't even post about cars, so it doesn't make sense. You know, like if you're
just trying to get their money, that's all.
So make sure that it makes sense. Like, you know, I'm a mompreneur, so most of the brands that I pitch are brands that I already use in my house. Or if I find a new brand, like it's something beneficial, you know, that I can try and it would make sense to the brand. Whereas like I'm not gonna go and ask someone at Ferrari to partner with me. Like that does not make any sense.
But you can go ex Jeep.
I could.
Look. All right, awesome.
Pull up in the Jeeps.
Right. Well, not me. I'm pull up in the Chevy.
That's okay, girl. You shot some shit.
You silly.
All right. So any other questions we have off the top of our heads for Carly before we hop off and do our closing?
No, I have one. Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that too. Thank you very much. But one question really quickly, and hopefully it doesn't take that long because I know we're short for time.
I'll keep it short.
Being a mom, a wife, and handling your own business, how do you balance all three? Like, what are some tips you could give mom to say, hey, this worked for me, this helped me balance the two to make sure I had the kids right, I had the husband right, and I had the business right?
Yeah, definitely time management is number one. Super crucial. I have like 3 planners. I have 3 planners, but I have my one Google Calendar that has everything in it. And so like I definitely have like certain time blocks for. So my dog is scratching my sorry. I have time blocks for different things. So like I only accept like, at certain times of the day is my window for client calls or brand calls. On the weekends, like that's my family time. After a certain time in the evening, that's my family time. Sundays, I do not work. Like I set firm boundaries on what certain things are. And then of course there are times where, something may go into my family time and I have to say, okay, he'll be like, I had this going on, but I'll make up for it on this day or this, that, and the third. And so it's really just time management, communication with all of your supporters, and asking for help for sure. That's number one, really. Asking for help, because there's only 24 hours in the day. You cannot do everything on your own. So asking for help, time management, setting firm boundaries on your calendar, and guarding your time, with all your heart. With all your heart, and not always saying yes to everything. Like you don't have to say yes to everything. Or if you feel like you have to say yes to something and it comes at the expense of you, missing out on something, like just kind of figure out, is it actually worth it? Because you're the boss. So if someone says, I have to meet with you on this day or this window, and you're like, oh, that goes into my family time, like, okay, maybe I can move it to here or move it to there. And if they don't understand, then that's not who you need to be working with. So
okay. Don't make them make you feel guilty about your time.
Because you are the boss. You are the boss. That's really, you are the boss. You control what your days look like, the tone of your days, how you start your days, how you end your days. So yeah. And take time to rest. Take time to rest.
Definitely.
That's really number one.
Okay. Well, thank
you.
Thank you.
This was so much fun.
I wish we could go longer, but we can't. So it's okay. We'll do a part 2, or maybe we'll collab again later on.
Right.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do the closing. We want to thank you, Carly, for joining us today and giving us all this useful information. It has really helped us. I really hope it helps our audience. And, if anybody needs help with content creation, there's Carly.
Or marketing, there's Carly.
Yes, follow her on Instagram. You have a TikTok?
Oh, yeah. Give us your Instagram information.
My Instagram, so my personal page is Carly Dorlyn, CarlyDorlynn. My business page is cd.creativecode.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again, Carly. And also, we want to thank you all for tuning into our podcast. Again, if you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel, like, and comment. We love feedback. While you're at it, follow us on all streaming platforms. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. Go follow, like, comment. Also, if you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss, or if you'd like to just be a guest on our podcast, kind of like Carly, feel free to email us. Again, thank you, and see you next week for your weekly scoop serving. Peace.
Bye.
Send all complaints to Kevin.
Oh, Kevin gonna get all the DMs. Oh my goodness. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
We enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
Give us
So
a lot
glad
of
we
good
had
knowledge.
you. Right. We can use this ourselves for sure.
Aww.
Definitely.
Yes, we should definitely do this again for sure.
Yeah. Because that's why I asked that question, because I'm struggling trying to balance all three: hubby, husband, and just work life and regular
podcast.
Life. Yeah. So I was like, now I have gotten a little calendar, the little dry erase board. It's been helping a lot.
Yeah.
Like you said, 3. So I'm like, oh, I need to add one.
That's so funny, because I was on I had a brand call today with a planner business. She has a mom planner, and it literally has like all of these things. I was like, my audience needs this, and nobody knows about it. So you need to tell everybody about it. She's like, yeah, because I was the mom with the 4 planners and the calendar on the wall and a refrigerator. It was just too much. And I'm like, it is too much.
Man, that's crazy.
I try to fit everything on my iPhone because
that didn't work for me. It did not.
I have to, and I have a separate planner for my family, so all our family activities go in a family calendar, and then I have my regular planner for everything else. It's mine.
Yep, I'm right there with you.
Speaking of calendars, do you still have my calendar, Shay? Because I might
I
need
do.
that.
It's in my storage.
Okay, I was like, you moving. Let me make sure you're not leaving it behind.
No,
Don't
ma'am.
leave me in your old apartment, child.
I was gonna say we're gonna put it on sale to get us some more stuff.
I might need that one to put my, that'll be my second calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
y'all. We probably gonna cut off.
in a minute, so I'm gonna just say bye, y'all. It was nice.
Bye.
Bye.
Till next time.